2016 marks the centenary of World War I's Battle of the Somme and Dublin's Easter Rising, two events that shaped and divided the Irish nation. On Songs of Praise this week, I've come to Belfast to learn more about the continuing significance of these two events.
If Irish Republicans claim the Easter Rising as their heroic kind of moment in history, Ulster Unionists claim the Somme as their moment of heroism.
And I'll be finding out how this humble caravan is helping the younger generation to mark the anniversary as part of a project called 100 Days of Prayer. How are you getting on there, Laura? Getting there, yeah.
I'll be finding out how some of these school children have ended up joining a top cathedral choir.
And I'm at Leeds Rhinos Rugby League Club with news of an exciting opportunity for fans of the game to sing in front of 80,000 people at the Challenge Cup final in Wembley.
Oi, I think you'll find that's our trophy.
All right, lads, I was just borrowing it. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, put me down!
Most of our hymns are from around Northern Ireland this week, as well as a performance from Northern Irish worship leader Nathan Jess. And our first hymn comes from a congregation gathered in the Waterfront Hall here in Belfast. It's an important anniversary year here in Northern Ireland. Back in 1916, two events rocked the island of Ireland, the impact of which is still being felt here, 100 years on. The Easter Rising is seen by Irish nationalists as the cornerstone of the struggle for independence from British rule, whilst the huge sacrifice made by the Ulster volunteers at the Battle of the Somme helped pave the way for the formation of Northern Ireland. What's striking here in Belfast is that you don't need to search the history books to find out what happened. It's all around you.
The Easter Rising really changed the course of Irish history. Most Irish nationalists supported moderate Home Rule. So this was a small, unelected group who were planning a revolt against English rule. Their slogan was "England's difficulty is Ireland's opportunity." So they planned to have a rebellion in the middle of the Great War. They held Dublin for a week, key positions like the post office, like St Stephen's Green, and it was at the GPO that Patrick Pearse, the commander-in-chief of the rebel forces, read a proclamation to Irish men and Irish women proclaiming a sovereign, independent republic.
And no accident that the Easter Rising was Easter.
There was this quasi-religious significance, the idea of resurrection, the rebirth of a new independent Ireland, no longer threatened with the idea of becoming a kind of a West Britain.
The siege lasted 6 days before it was quashed by the British Army, who court-martialed the revolutionaries and sentenced them to death.
The executions were the real game changer in this whole thing. The executions, you know, barely recorded in the press. J. Connolly was the last of the rebel leaders to be executed, but it was the nature of his execution which ultimately leaked out. He had been wounded in the ankle, and now he was strapped to a chair in front of a firing squad of young soldiers, and, you know, they faltered. And he actually said, "I admire all brave men who do their duty." And that is really emblazoned on the folk memory of nationalist Ireland right down to today.
From the nationalist Catholic area around Ardoyne, we made our way to an area associated with the loyalist Protestant community on the Shankill Road and a memorial to the Battle of the Somme.
The Great War had a massive impact on Ireland, Sally. Something like 200,000 Irishmen from this island of both traditions fought in the Great War. And of course, when it comes to the Battle of the Somme, it impacted almost exclusively on the Ulster Protestants who enlisted in 1914. On the first day, you had 5,000 casualties on the 1st of July 1916 as they went over the top into the sort of waiting German machine guns. And it was through, they believe, this blood sacrifice that the Ulster Unionists earned their right to opt out of an Irish state after the Great War. And it's seen very much as the birth certificate, a very bloody one, of the state of Northern Ireland today.
Where is God thought to have been in all this?
Protestant clergymen, Roman Catholic priests, all talked about, you know, this being a God-justified war. And the deity was called to bless the arms of men in both these key events. I have here my grandfather's death penny. This was issued to all kind of families in the United Kingdom who had lost a loved one in the Great War. And of course the UK included Ireland at that time.
And what did people feel about having these?
I think there were different resonances in different communities. In nationalist Ireland, often the death penny would be relegated to a bottom drawer because in the view of the nationalist consensus after 1916, the men who fought on the Western Front had fought in the wrong war. In the Unionist North, of course, the blood sacrifice at the Somme was really important, was really iconic, was something to be proud of. So very different reactions, but today we're discovering our common history, even though in Ireland, you know, we don't always have a common memory.